Welcome back to Tungsten Tales. I'm here with Sam Gill to just run through the current order of merits and the qualification for the World Match Play. Of course, it's the top 16 in the world, joined by the top 16 on the Pro Tour order of merit. That's just this year, of course. And there's plenty of big names currently missing out, but there's a lot of exciting new names that are in there that are really, really in form in the world of darts. Of course, all the big names will be there. Gerwyn Price, Peter Wright, Michael van Gerwen, all your major winners. New Premier League champion Johnny Clayton will be there as well, not as a seed as it currently stands. He is top of the Pro Tour Order of Merit, 17th in the main Order of Merit, although just a couple of grand away from Ian White, who currently occupies 16th spot and not in the best of form, the Diamond. As you look down the current names in the Pro Tour Order of Merit, Sam, who's safe, who's not safe, who do we think might get in there?
Yeah, thanks for that. Of course, for Johnny Clayton, he's like you say, just outside. He's on 256,000 at the moment, and then you get Ian White on 258. He's been dropping like a fly recently. In terms of the order of merit, he ended up going through that run in 2019 when he had multiple European Tour finals and wins. When he was in imperious form on the European Tour, so his money's just dropping off weekly. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be organic in terms of White falling below Clayton. He won't have to play any games, in my opinion. And then of course you have a big gap towards Joe Cullen. If he ends up being in the Pro Tour Order of Merit, it's going to be a massive name to kind of go against the seeds, especially if you're not in the best of form. I don't know how it will go, but of course you might end up having Gerwyn Price versus Johnny Clayton in the first round, which is very, very grim for one of those players. And then of course when you kind of look down the Pro Tour Order of Merit, you have the likes of Devin Peterson, who I think in terms of going down the Order of Merit, it's going to be probably around. It's very tight. I'd say probably Dirk Van Dyvenberg is the one player who's definitely in. He's currently in 7th. And then you kind of have a cluster of players between about 22,000 and about 25,000, headed up by Ross Smith, who's on 25, Gabriel Clemens, Mervin King. But then, of course, you have the likes of them, and I think we spoke about it before in terms of Callum Ritz, who ended up missing his flight to Germany due to the COVID testing rules. He might end up missing out as a result. He's currently in 13th place out of the 16. Then you have Jermaine Motamina, Madas Rasma, and one of your favourites, Ryan Searle, who's currently occupying the last position. But then you have Darius Abanauskas, who's just on the cusp on 19,000 alongside Ryan Searle, who's literally just outside the top 16 on 19,000. And then you have Jamie Hughes, Steve Lennon. Stephen Bunting's not currently in the field. He's currently 18th overall on the Order of Merit. He's currently 20th on the Pro Tour Order of Merit. And then you have certain players looking down, like Stephen Bunting, Steve. I just spoke about him. Steve Beaton and Adrian Lewis, who likely will miss out. Adrian Lewis is well down on the Order of Merit and probably won't get back up. And then you have the likes of Steve Beaton, who he's currently in 38th place on the main Order of Merit and 42nd on the Pro Tour Order of Merit. And he of course, he's had that run at the World Match Play. He's qualified. I can't remember for how many consecutive years, but he's qualified for.
I think it's 20. I think it's 20 years, but
basically the whole of my lifetime. Then,
yeah,
he's qualified for the World Match Play, so it's going to be interesting because it always kind of holds the key with it being the second biggest ranked major in terms of the future of some players. If you can qualify for the World Match Play, you're assured. If you're down below and play well on the Pro Tour and you're in your first year, you're kind of assured if you tour card the year after. The likes of Steve Beaton and Adrian Lewis will be massively looking over the shoulder going forward. You know, it's going to be an interesting time. But then you, of course, have names such as Simon Whitlock. Simon Whitlock's not in it either currently.
Yeah,
it would be a massive miss. Of course, he ended up knocking Michael van Gerwen one of about 5 times. He knocked out Michael van Gerwen in major tournaments last year at the World Match Play. And then you, of course, have Raymond Barnaveld. Of course, he's currently on 14,250 pounds and is currently in 28th place. And he can make a run with it being as close as it is. If he can make a run towards the final of a Super Series or win one, it's all important in the next few weeks for these Super Series blocks. If he can have 1 or 2 good runs, you know, he can massively put himself in contention for that final spot. Because for a lot of players going forward, a lot of them aren't in form and have prize money from last year as opposed to this year, so they might not play well in the Super Series. So it's going to be an interesting time overall in the race to the World Matchplay. It's always the best bit of the year, in my opinion, when it comes to Players' Championships, in terms of something being on the line, whether that's a Grand Slam spot last year, World Matchplay. Of course, we always have that weekend in terms of Ireland before the World Grand Prix, where Madas Rasma always seems to make it to the last stages at the City West. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting time. Looking forward going up to the World Matchplay.
Yeah, I think the first 7 in the Pro Tour of Merit probably safe. Up to Dirk Van Dyvenberg, who's on nearly 36 grand, so he's got a 17 grand lead on Darius Labanauskas. It's funny you mentioned Simon Whitlock. It's very strange to see him outside of those places. Currently 19th on the main order of merit, and then quite a way out on the Pro Tour of Merit as well. So yeah, Simon Whitlock can still get in there. Look, he's still a top player. He's probably a better player than lots of the players above him in the Pro Tour of Merit, but it's the way it works, isn't it? He had such a good year last year where some people were sort of saying maybe we'll get him in the Premier League, but now it looks like he's in a tough position where he needs some real results. He's probably going to need a couple of semi-final and a final, possibly more, to make it into the World Matchplay. So tough few weeks ahead for Simon Whitlock, but the players that have jumped their way in, Luke Humphries could be set for a debut at the World Matchplay. Callum Ridds, as you mentioned as well, hasn't been at the Winter Gardens before. And then some of the more familiar names, Mervin King, obviously had a great year last year. He's there. Gabriel Clemens, who went on a run last year. I can't quite remember who he defeated in the opening round, but certainly had a good year. I feel like it might have been Peter Wright, although I might be getting mixed up with the World Championship there.
Yeah, you might be. I'm not 100% on that one off the top of my head.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on that one. But you know, there's plenty of players in form on the edge of those spots. Andy Bolton's been playing some good stuff. He was good on the Pro Tour the other week. Martin Kleermacher, of course, reached a final. He's a very, very good player on his day.
Yeah.
And even further down, Jeff Smith's been playing some half decent stuff. There's plenty of names. I mean, I could go on forever, but there's loads of names there that are playing really, really good stuff. And with, I'm not sure how many events there are. There are 8 events before the World Matchplay.
Because of course we have 2 blocks. We have one in Bolton in, of course, just under 2 weeks' time, and just I think it's 2 weeks today, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 weeks today.
14th, and then we have another block at the start of July, which I think is in Milton Keynes. 100% on that one, but I believe it is. So we have 2. Of course, have 2 blocks of tournaments. Of course, as well, in terms of players even lower down, like of Alan Suter, could even, of course, make a run for it. Other players like that, even you know, if he, in my opinion, if he kind of around the 10 or 11 or 12,000 mark, you can kind of get him with a tournament win.
Yeah,
I think it was the same with Ryan Joyce last season when he ended up winning his first ranking major. I can't remember if it was the same for Ryan Searle. I don't know if it was just after. I think it might have been the start of last year in winning his first title in March time before we ended up having COVID. I think they beat Marco van Gerwen in the final. So it kind of only takes one good run, and it's like I said in a previous video we did. It's going to be a bit of a change of the guard, in my opinion, in terms of next year at the World Matchplay, because a cluster of those names in the top 16 of the main order of merit won't be there next year. You've got like Glenn Durrant, he likely won't be there. Darryl Gurney, as much as he's been kind of keeping his hopes alive, he's not been as good as his major triumphs in the past few years. Ian White, of course, he's been kind of dropping like a stone, like I say. So you're going to kind of have certain names that Rob Cross in 5th. You're going to have certain names that end up dropping down and might struggle to qualify next year. So you might have the likes of Johnny Clayton, that's currently in 1st place in the Pro Tour, and red likes of Devin Peterson, even Damon Hetter, if he can get further up the rankings, that could end up taking those spots next year. So it's going to be an interesting World Matchplay this time around, because it could be the last time we see certain players at the World Matchplay for a while.
Yeah, certainly could be a changing of the guard. Thank you very much for joining me, Sam. Been a pleasure to talk darts. We've talked Premier League early today. You can see that probably on another video. Plenty of stuff going out on the channel. I'm sure by this time it's gone out. We've had interviews with like Jermaine Watermina, Gary Blades have gone up. There's plenty more to come as well. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate your time, and we'll see you soon.